Hello and welcome to another episode of So Far So Happy. I am Jinoski, and today, as I promised on my last video blog, today I'm gonna talk about personal planets versus celestial planets. It is a very extensive topic, obviously. I mean, planets, they're so magical and they stand for so many things that, you really can spend your entire life discovering things about planets and what they rule and stories about them. And it's endless. But today, I want to go and show you because obviously assuming that the people watching this video they have no idea about astrology, you know. So first I want to start by saying that the general knowledge that we have of astrology is extremely superficial and one-dimensional. We are literally identifying ourselves with one single energy, which is the sun. Like most people just know their sun sign. They don't realize that there is the ascendant sign and the lunar sign, and every single planet has a sign, is somewhere on your birth chart. That is the most important thing to get. If you do not have your birth chart yet, you have to get it, because there you will see everything, and there you will understand many things about yourself, because again, you're not just identifying with your sun sign, you're getting to know everything else. And the way I think of planets, they're like different personalities living inside all of us, and they all want to do something different. They all want to bring something unique, and they are like in charge, or they rule behaviors, inclinations. That's what they do. It's energy, so let's start, because like I say, we can talk so much about planets, but I'm hoping this is, a quick introduction so you feel more interested, and then you can go and check for yourself everything you want to know about them. And for that, I would like to take this moment to recommend my favorite astrology YouTube channel, which is called Lada Doncheva. She is a great astrologer. Her website is called ASTROLOGY, and there you can find so many readers, all kinds, not just astrologers, intuitive readers, psychics, mediums. It's such a great resource, and they have tons of webinars, obviously. So if you want to learn more about astrology, and yeah, you should go there. So we're going to start with the personal planets. And why are these planets called personal? Because they rule our personalities, mostly, but also because they're the original 7 ancient planets. Those are the 7 planets that we are able to see with our naked eyes when they appear, when they're moving, and that we can actually see them. People are very aware of them, and they've been for thousands of years. Okay, so we're gonna start with the sun. And this is the symbol for the sun. It's a circle and a dot. And the sun, we all know it. It's the one that we associate and identify ourselves with mostly. And the sun rules our creative energy. So what we create, how we create, what area of life we create. You know, it's the area of light in which we shine the most. So the sun is right there. It's the great creator. So therefore, whatever our sun is placed, that's where we create the greatest, right? Right after the sun comes the moon. And the moon is the ruler of the night, and she rules our feelings, how we feel. So depending on where, and by where I mean which house, which degree, which sign, the moon will show you how you feel. And well, the moon is tricky. I have to say the moon is tricky because the moon is a reflector and a receiver. It can get a little hard to deal with the moon. There is this theory out there that says that the moon is a programming machine, kind of like a satellite that emits energy waves, and they control us sometimes, you know. So super important to know where is your moon, because what if you're being controlled? The moon can point out to insecurities, trauma. I mean, the moon receives, so it kind of just takes in, you know. It rules the sign of Cancer, which it's a sign that usually keeps in. So very important. Anyway, the next one is Mars. Mars is the god of war, and it rules how we act. How do we act? Do we act aggressively? Do we act diplomatically? Or do we act irrational? Or how do we act? Where do we act? What makes us act? You know, what puts us on action? Also where we can be aggressive and you know, where, you know, we have that hunger, you know, we have that drive to, like, you know, get something, get it done. I mean, it's a very active energy, it's action. Now we have Venus, the goddess of love and arts, which I think is very interesting that it came out looking like, I didn't do it on purpose, but it really came out looking like an abstract painting, which that's what Venus is. She's art, she's a beauty, she is the muse, you know, she is the goddess of love. Whatever Venus is placed in your chart, it will show how you like to be loved, how do you love. You have to check what planets are around it, what sign is it on, and then you can find out many things about yourself that you didn't know, or that you knew but you didn't have the courage to do it. You know, personally, I'm an ascendant Libra, so, and I have Venus in Libra, so my Venus is pretty strong, and I'm still working on it, but I tend to, like, not appreciate sometimes my abilities in art. So that's what you have to check. You have to check how, you know, like, is it afflicted? Is it strong? Is it? And I know this is much more advanced, but you start somewhere, right? I've been interested on astrology for a very long time, and I know it's a complex subject. And if you're not the kind of person that wants to know everything about, you know, like, it just seems really extent. But I always say you should know your birth chart. You don't need to know what Venus means in this and that in every single sign. No, you just have to know yours, because it's your birth chart. You know, you don't have to be an astrologer. You just have to know what affects you. Anyway, let's continue and let's go with Mercury, and he is the messenger of the gods, and he rules our mind. Mercury is the mind, and it's. I just have to tell this little story. And when I was doing all these little cutouts, I totally forgot about Mercury. He was nowhere to be seen, and I didn't realize it. I did this like 2 days, 3 days ago, I don't know. But I just didn't realize it, and then today I was obviously going through the stuff for my video, and I was like, oh shoot, I did not make Mercury. And it's so funny that it was retrograde, and today is the most intense because it's stationary to go direct. And I mean, astrology is no joke. Even if you believe on it or not, it works. And that this is just an example how it works, you know, like this. It's crazy, but I love it. So anyway, it rules your mind. So your intelligence, you know, how do you use your intelligence? What are your intellectual interests, you know? Yeah, how you communicate with the people around you, or you don't communicate with people near you. Do you communicate with people outside yourself, or vice versa? Or are you like a quiet kind of person, or are you like outspoken? And you know, Mercury, communication, mind. How do you speak your mind? Articulate your mind, and how you articulate your words. Basically, everything that has to do with communication and the mind, intelligence. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. The next one is Jupiter. I hope it looks right. Jupiter, he is the king of gods. So he is the maximum benefactor. You like, I mean, we all like Jupiter because he brings luck, he brings abundance, he brings fun. He's a nice guy. He is our nice guy. We like him because he's always giving us opportunities. However, we have to be careful, you know, on overindulging. The myth of Jupiter, or Zeus, talks about how he had many love affairs, you know, so he was kind of a cheater, love-wise. So, you know, it's that, you know, maybe you go overboard. In the other spectrum of it, it's our benefactor. It's our guy. He brings wonderful stuff. So whatever he is located, he will bring abundance to it. And the last one, for, I hope it looks good. I don't know, like I can't tell with these cameras anymore. But the last one of their personal planets is Mr. Saturn. And he is not such a nice guy. He is the ruler of the world and time. He means responsibility. Yeah, that's Saturn. He will not just let you off the hook like Mr. Jupiter will do, you know. He's the one that will give you like lucky windfalls. Yeah, but Mr. Saturn now, I mean, I love Saturn, don't get me wrong. I respect Saturn so much, and I have a lot of Saturn energy too in my chart. So I have to know how to deal with him, you know. I really have to. He's conjunct my moon, so not But I love Saturn because, in my opinion, I think he is a very fair, very fair planet. He will not, if you do something wrong, he'll get you, you know. And if you do something right, he will reward you big time, you know. When it comes to Jupiter, like his fortune sometimes tends to be quick, you know. It comes and goes, you know. It's like, oh yeah, you win like this summer money because this and that, but you spend it just as fast, you know. It comes and goes. But Mr. Saturn, yeah, things take time and they're difficult, but once you master them, because that's what Saturn does, he is the great master. He teaches you how to deal with the toughest of the toughest so you can become the greatest of the greatest, because Saturn is top, you know. He's difficult because nothing that it's worth it will come easy to you, you know. So yeah, he is the god of time. So like I said, we all die, we all age with time. So he's the one that comes with the lessons of every step of every stage of our life. He will be there and he will like teach you lessons and show you what you did wrong or what you didn't do, you missed, blah, blah, or reward you for the hard work, because it represents hard work. And Saturn, it's like I said, the ruler of the world, so he literally is like it's funny, he's like our god, you will say, you know, like not the maximum creator, but he is he's the one that makes things happen. He's the one that manifests things to you. He's, you know, he's the one that it's concrete and very foundational. So he is in charge of you getting your foundations strong, very strong foundations. Saturn was the father of Jupiter, and Jupiter maybe overthrew him and became the king of the gods. But Mr. Saturn was there before, and yeah, he knows what he's doing. Okay, now we go for the 3 celestial planets. And why are they called celestial? Well, first of all, these planets we can't see with the naked eyes. They were recently discovered. They can only be seen with a telescope. So, you know, before we have all the technology to look at the stars, we couldn't see them, so we didn't know, right? They represent subconscious behaviors, you know. So these are the things that probably nobody knows about you. They probably hold your dearest secrets, or, you know, your darkest thoughts, or, you know, they're unconscious. And they also rule generations, you know, because the 7 personal planets, Saturn, it's the one that takes the longest to go around the solar ecliptic, which Saturn takes about 30 years to go around the solar ecliptic, right? So if I was born with Saturn in Gemini, then at my 28, 29 years old, I will have my Saturn return. That means Saturn went already all around the zodiac and went back to Gemini. And so Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they are the celestial planets, and they take really long to go around. Uranus takes 84 years. Neptune takes 164 years to go around the solar ecliptic, and Pluto takes 246 years. So that's a long time. Many of them we don't, they're generational. So that means many people have Uranus and Gemini, or Neptune in Pisces. Okay, so Uranus, he is the ruler of inventions. He is the god of the sky, so he looks like this satellite. He rules technology, inventions. He's pretty cool, but he likes radical change, so he's radical. And he changed things, and he spends about 7 to 8 years in each sign. So imagine how many people were born in are born in 7 or 8 years. A lot, right? So it's generational. It's an energy that many people have, so it makes things move at a big scale, right? The celestial planets are great for world predictions, because these changes take time. One thing happens, like let's say World War II, it happened in damn, I don't want to sound dumb, but it was like 1943. But anyway, it didn't start in that year in particular. It started years before, So they're very good for predicting mundane events, things that happen in the world that we can see, like for countries and things like that. So interesting. Uranus can be dogmatic. Let's remember he didn't like his kids. Like he literally put them back into the womb of Gaia, which was his wife. Gaia meaning Earth. So he put all their children back into her womb, under the earth. So he wasn't a very nice guy in that sense. You gotta so you gotta be careful on being too cold, too rough, too radical, too dogmatic, but in a positive sense, it brings a lot of downloads and invention. It just creates things that they're so new. So like I say, it can be a little tricky, and it rules technology. So it makes me think about artificial intelligence and 5G and all these things that they might sound awesome, but how awesome are they really? Like they can turn against us, and I think they already have, but so it can turn against us whenever we have it, if we go overboard. So we have to be really careful on dealing with Uranus. Its energy, it's very sudden, like changes happen really fast, they're radical. So yeah. The next one is Neptune, and Neptune is the god of the sea, and it's how you inspire people. He likes to go deep, basically, but more than that, he's those deep desires or those deep feelings that you don't even know you have, and they control you. It's sort of like when you're an alcoholic and you just don't realize it. You're getting home and you're having like 15 beers every night, and you're like, no, I'm not. I don't have a problem. What do you mean by that? That's kind of the Neptunian energy, but it's also very spiritual. That's the good part of Neptune. It can take you to different worlds. It's the least physical of the planets. It's pure spirit. It's like out of body experiences. other dimensional experiences. Um, so yeah, depending on where you have it, it can also be like kind of illusionary planet, right? So you can, let's say if you have it on your seventh house, which is the relationship house, it might point out that you tend to be easily illusion in love, and then they break your heart and you were like, oh, but why? It's like you didn't see the red flags. That's Neptune. He kind of just puts this beautiful veil on top of things, and then when it's down, it's like, oh, damn, this wasn't so good. Again, depending. So we gotta be careful on, or illusions, how we can be tricked. Mercury also rules illusions, but Mercury is more the one that makes the illusion. Neptune is kind of the one that falls falls for it. So whatever you have Neptune, just be mindful of excesses, things that maybe living too much in like la la land. It rules Pisces, so if you have like a lot of Pisces energy, you are highly Neptunian. But that's not the only thing. You can be born in a Neptunian degree or in a Neptunian decant. Make a That's the thing, and I know this is more advanced, but like I said at the beginning, I just really, really want people to get interested on astrology and get to know themselves. And the last one but not least is Pluto. And he is the god of the underworld. He rules the way we transform, or where do we transform? What are we transforming as a generation? With these celestial planets, you gotta keep in mind that it's more important the house where they at more than the sign, because like I said, they take so long to switch signs. So check the house. The house is very important. In my case, I have it on the second house. So the second house is what we have. It can be for good or for bad. It can go from like, oh, I was born rich, and I had everything, and then I lost it all, and now I'm homeless. Or it can be very life changing, inspirational, like maybe I feel like it rules like near death experiences, this when you cross the light, and you kind of like see everything, and then you just realize everything that you done wrong, and you come back to life, and it's like, I'm a new person, I'm reborn. And I know that, and I'm reborn, and I know it sounds fatalistic, because I don't want anybody to go into a near death experience, but it's kind of like that. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes, so it's total transformation. Whatever you have it will show a transformation. So check what house do you have it, and what is your transformation, where is it happening. And that will be my video for today. I hope you liked it, and before I go, I would like to just shuffle my cards and just get a little message. I don't know, just like a message for the people watching this video. All right, passion, awesome. Well, astrology, it's one of my many passions. I love astrology, and I always recommend everybody to know their astrology, their personal astrology, because life can just be so much manageable. I'm not saying it will be easy, and it takes years to understand it. I am still learning so much. but passion, that's good. So if astrology is your passion, I really, really invite you to learn more about it. Um, Great. It's a service for you, to yourself and for the world, honestly, because when you know yourself, you're not just reacting. You're you're conscious, so you can help a lot just by being conscious. The first step is being conscious, and I think astrology, it's that first step. It was for me. Um, so yeah, enjoy it. Bye bye.